Another Wednesday, another Dev Diary, and today we are taking a look at the alternative flavors of Sweden. Starting with the communists. And I'm sure this is gonna please a lot of you guys. They are now on the left side of the branch, so the leftist path is on the left. Thank God that annoyed me so much. Their whole shtick seems to be revolving around, well, the trade unions, organizing with them, and then rising up against capitalism and liquidating the monarchy. Only to be then ruled by the man from Seinfeld. He's a funny communist because he doesn't like the Soviet Union, doesn't like Stalin, and likes Germany. So, very interesting gameplay going on there. You might get some Nazbol themed Sweden going, but certainly looks interesting. So Niels here is going to be put in charge of your new anti-Soviet pro-Axis Swedish communists. Well, I've seen weirder things, I suppose. Now, because all things must come to an end, he can also be removed. So once he takes power, a ticking timer starts where there's a bit of a power struggle between him and his number 2 guy, Karl. Of course, he's named Karl. And you either stick with, or you pick Karl here, is more of the... He still hates the Soviets, no doubt about that, but he also doesn't like the Germans, and he loves the Allies. So it's a less extreme version of your weird communism. If you want to be sort of the good guy, this is your man. And of course, no good thing ever happens without opposition. There will be counter-revolutions, and you must stop them. And the way to stop them is apparently to deal with the ringleaders in this case, giving you the option to expose them. You can either prosecute them through the legal system, basically removing these people from the game. In this case, it's 3 high-ranking generals, or you can promote them to positions where they don't really have any power to do anything. And that means you get to keep the generals. They're just slightly, well, quite worse than they were before. I don't think I value generals highly enough to just not throw them away, but you do you. And now we come to the the interesting part of the Sovietry. Their socialist reforms. Disgusting, I know. Please, bear with me. This whole thing revolves around that folkhemmet national spirit that you get as the Democrats. In this case, though, the communist side gets the chance to get a research bonus and a production efficiency bonus based on how many civilian factories or what percentage of your economy is devoted to consumer goods. And the more factories you devote to consumer goods, the bigger the buff. So you're trading research efficiency and production efficiency for having, well, no civilian economy whatsoever because you're using everything to make toasters. Plus, of course, some more interesting or flavorful decisions to give your people more rights and more taxes, I guess. Everybody loves taxes. And no communist government would be complete without the ability to print men. In this case, you can offer a refuge from war where you gain manpower from every country that is not currently communist, scaled to how much communism support that country has. It's looking like, yeah, you can score quite a bit of manpower. I don't think this is like monthly or daily. God, I hope it's not daily, but like a total pool of manpower. In that case, this is not a weird number, not excessive. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. You can get like 80,000 manpower. Not bad. It's not going to change much, but depending on how that works, but it's not bad. And here we come to the more interesting part where you can offer refuge to revolutionaries. You can steal advisors from everybody, like communism-focused advisors from all other countries in the world that currently don't really support communism. I don't know how this is going to work. It might get tweaked, but it looks like you take the focus and every country that has advisors linked to a communist tree or a communist ideology loses those advisors and you gain those advisors, which is probably, it's technically impressive, it's very cool, it's flavorful. I would hate to be playing one of those countries and suddenly seeing one of my advisors disappear. Then again, if I'm not communist, I don't use the advisor anyway, but it would screw with potential future plans for memory. I don't like the exiled communist military council. 16% less organization, 16% less stability, all for 20% division attack. Yeah, that's not, I would never make that. I would never hire that man or well, that council. More fun shenanigans for Sweden. If you are one of the several flavors of communist, you can starve the enemy. In this case, they've localized this for the fascists, but if you have sided with the Axis as Nils, you could then starve the allies of iron instead. So depending on what side you took, you starve your future enemy of iron. You basically embargo them. They're not getting your tungsten, they're not getting your steel, and you get a nice boost to your factory output, dockyard output, at the expense of losing more stuff to consumer goods, which in turn then boosts your output again and boosts your research again. So it can make you quite powerful depending on how much you were planning to use those civilian factories. And no communist government would be complete without international shenanigans. So yeah, you can support communism in your neighbors. In this case, most likely your direct neighbors, Denmark, Sweden, Finland. Wait, you are Sweden. Norway, that's the one. Denmark, Norway, and Finland. And prepare for a coup, James Bond style. Yes, that's cool. I just don't know how much I want to rely on ticking timers and building daily support and just having missions that might fail. It's just, it's nice. I think it's cool. I just don't think I'll ever use it when it's much easier to just invade. But that's just me. And what I do like is that you don't actually, well, there is virtually no communism support in Finland due to the whole Winter War thing. And they're realistic there. You're not going to try and build a communist government there. What you're going to do instead is, since both of your flavors of communism hate the Soviet Union, is build up a strong Finland that is a nice little buffer state between you and that big angry red bear. This helps you help the Finns, which, I mean, looking at the numbers here, not that much help, but it's nice that they consider the fact that no Finn is ever going to support communism for a good long while. And then finally, the crowning glory of our communist tree, the universal basic income. I know, I threw up a little in my mouth there, all this communism and socialism they're shoving down your mouth. It adds another bonus. Well, bonus depends on how you look at bonus. You give up more consumer goods, you gain a lot of stability, a lot of research speed, a lot of good bonuses, but some really disgusting consumer goods penalties. So at the end of this tree, if you're full-on communist, I don't think you're using any factories for anything else but building toasters, which probably sucks. But you're gonna research very quickly. Yeah, looking at this, this is an example of what you can get. That is a massive bonus. 41% production efficiency, 20% research speed. But look at this. Oh my god. 58% consumer goods. But why? Why would you do this? Why? Now, to be honest, he is on civilian economy. You can probably switch out. But then again, that would reduce the bonus from the Folkhemmet. So, I don't think I'll ever play this. No. Oh, it goes against my very being. No, I can't stand that high number of consumer goods. Gotta scroll away. And now, the paths we all wanted to see. Fascism, ugh. And monarchism, yay! So let's start with the fascism branch. So, Swedes aren't really about that Italian fascism. It's not really their thing. They were a little more attracted to the German style of fascism. I know how that sounds, but historically there are many reasons for it. Italian fascism was deemed too foreign. Same with communism. It looked too foreign, trying to infiltrate their society. They did not want any of that. While the Germanic aspects of National Socialism did kind of appeal. It looked a bit more close to home. So they got a little bit of traction, but not a whole lot. Not going to give you the whole history lesson, but overall, in the Nordics, fascism wasn't cool, and communism nobody really liked that either. Right, so they're all very staunch Democrats. They are getting a pretty thick tree here. Look at this here. And it all starts at the top with preventing a red dictatorship. That is where both fascist and monarchist paths start. And they share a good run of the same thing. Either you revoke the anti-militia laws and choose the fascist side, or you start right away by undermining the fascists. That is your monarchist path. Essentially, what you want to do here as the fascists is either take control of the country and restore order as an independent Sweden, ready for the counter-revolution and your juicy tree full of war goals. Or you take the easy path and you send a delegation to Berlin and basically invite the enemy in. This is an occupation branch. I personally don't think I'll ever choose this unless it's for a challenge or an achievement, but it gives you the opportunity to play as an Axis puppet and eventually choose how well you want to integrate with Germany itself. Do you want to keep some things independent? Do you want to just fully submit? And all the way at the bottom there, you can either be rewarded by the Germans for your loyal service, or you can drive a Swedish saber in their back when they're weak and you proclaim independence, which is probably the honorable thing to do at that point. But yeah, two paths, one as a puppet, one as an independent fascist nation. And then we have the monarchist here more to the left, undermine the fascists, meet with the king. Essentially, you rally all those nationalist organizations around Carl Gustav V? Or is it Gustav? I think it's Carl Gustav V, who was an absolute monarch when he took the throne and then later lost all of his power to democracy, but you basically rebuild his power, leading to the same counter-revolution and the same war goals. You just get a different flag. That is my path of choice, and I will be a monarchist until I die. And I am not gonna apologize. Now there are some really cool things here, and the funniest thing is I'm gonna scroll right down. It's so funny. Talk about war goals. You can forego war goals. So the counter-revolution leads to a whole lot of small territorial disputes that escalate into an invasion of the target country. Like you can have a fight with Norway over Narvik and eventually re-establish them as your puppet or integrate them into your jewel kingdom. Same with Bornholm. You can have a fight over the island with Denmark and over Åland with Finland, not to mention the Baltic. There are many memes to be had in the area, but the funniest one is approaching the allies. You basically go, all right, I'm not going to invade my neighbors yet. How about I help you guys fight this Germany guy, but I want some of your stuff. And the stuff you want, and this is so funny because it is historically accurate, the stuff you want is things like Ghana, New Jersey, essentially African, American, and Caribbean holdings that the Allies hold. You demand they sign those over to you, and you will come in and kick Hitler's ass, but not until you get your stuff back. So these are all holdings that the Swedish colonial empire once in some shape or form controlled. It's so funny, but apparently accurate, more or less. And while we're in the more or less accurate parts of the tree, reclaiming the Rus. Yes, the Rus. If any of you have played the Crusader Kings games, you know that there is a whole lot of Viking activity in that area of Russia at some point in time, and you use that as justification to get claims on like half of Russia. Why? Because we can. It doesn't, we don't have to be reasonable. We have guns. So neat. And finally, at long last, you will be able to reach your final form as Sweden and form a nation I cannot even begin to pronounce. But you look big, you look blue, and you are definitely thick. Anyway, that is the path I am most looking forward to playing. The obvious, I know it's so stupid and unrealistic, but I love my monarchy paths and I will play the hell out of this one. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. I am definitely curious to see what the community thinks about this, and I hope you enjoy this video. Hope you enjoy the next one as well. See ya.